Ladies and gentlemen, I feel deeply honoured to be here today with you, and thank you so much for joining me here at Brown's. Firstly, I'd like to thank Richard Cook, Sir Rocco and Lydia Forte for inviting us here for this fabulous lunch at Brown's. And thank you to the team here, to Andrew, to Amit and to Sarah for their efforts in looking after us, which I'm sure you will agree have been entirely successful. Thank you, Andrew. I took the role here at Brown's back in September 2019, and like any chef in my position, I ran at the task, all guns blazing, only to be stopped in my tracks in March 2020. COVID stopped those guns blazing, but not forever. So I've only really been here for 2.5 years and had this opportunity. And as most of you will know, in hotels, 2.5 years is no time at all. But I'm immensely proud of what we've achieved here together and incredibly excited for what is to come. My route here was quite convoluted and long-winded. I took this role after cooking some dinners at Verdura in Sicily with the brilliant Tom Kitchen. I was welcomed to Brown's by Stuart Johnson, who wasn't. Stuart was one of the country's leading and most esteemed general managers. Very sadly, he is an absent friend today. Last Friday, when I was considering what I intended to say to you all, it took my memory that those times with Stuart, and at that moment I realised that on that day, last Friday, May the 17th, it would have been Stuart's birthday. He touched the lives of many in this room and in this hotel, and last Friday I sensed that perhaps my appointment also had Stuart's blessing. I'd like to think so. Brown's being family owned was a huge draw for me, but also it's a 5-star hotel in Mayfair. And I must say it did feel like a bit of a homecoming for me. Taking me back to where it all began, if you like, in Mayfair. My role here is, it's a simple one on paper, but slightly more complicated in reality. It's a self-set mission to bring a complete and cohesiveness to the food and beverage offering here at Brown's, but also to have and remain a sort of sense of nostalgia and eccentricity to the overall offering here. There's 2 facts you might not know about my role here at Brown's and Brown's in general. My late Uncle Vic was a bellboy here in 1950, for a few years actually. And my wife was part of the legal team that put the deal together in 2003 when the Forte family bought this iconic hotel. So perhaps it was meant to be. I know that I initially took the role for the commercial benefits, as we do, but I now know that I operate here at Brown's for the sheer love of it, and for its team, its potential, and for its love, heart and soul, which is a wonderful and privileged place to be, and I appreciate that. I'd also like to thank Ollie and to Daniel for their part in organising today's event, and to thank Lisa for all she has done and will continue to do in her role as CEO of the Royal Academy. As John said, when I agreed to this plenary back in January, I had absolutely no idea that I would be standing here as the chairman of the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts. It really is a wonderful, honoured coincidence. I am privileged to be taking on the role of chairman. Most of us here are members of this highly prestigious institution which helps, educates and inspires young professionals in our industry. They put their trust in us. And I'm indebted to all of you for placing your trust in me. So thank you very much indeed. In particular, I would like to thank Brian Turner, our new honorary president. I also must thank Brian for his part in Club 9, a tour de force, just like you, Brian.
He's here.
Just like you, Brian. In particular, and for your invaluable contribution, which has been nothing short of incredible. Meanwhile, I have big shoes to fill. Yes, big shoes, John. In 2004, John Williams became the executive chef of the Ritz And in the same year, he was appointed chairman of the Academy. So he steered this mighty ship for 2 decades, and John was instrumental in shaping who we are today. He is an acknowledged statesman of our industry. And I'm proud to say that John also shaped who I am today. As I said, the Academy helps and educates and inspires young chefs. Once upon a time, I was one of those young chefs, and that's when I met John Williams. I was a teenager, and John was a little bit younger than he is today. And I was guided by John and by others who were and still are members of the Academy. Just to digress for a moment, I can still recall when I walked into Claridge's as a 15-year-old boy, meeting John for the first time. There he was in his immaculate gleaming whites. His sheer presence said it all. He was the boss, the chef. In fact, I've never called him John. To me, he's always been chef. So often when I begin to cook, I instantly am reminded of John, one of his dishes or his clever twists, the things John taught me, the advice he gave me, which I've never forgotten. He also made me laugh, and the memories continue to make me smile. I was fortunate enough to be trained in a hotel such as Claridge's, with such amazing standards and opportunities to learn as a young cook. Those days of Claridge's really were a golden era. Who knew then that I would be standing here today in front of you all, and what a testament that is to the vision of the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts. 30 odd years after I joined this wonderful profession, it really does feel like a circle in my career has been completed. John is a pillar of strength in our profession. Congratulations on your new role as President of the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts, and thank you in advance for your steadfast support as I navigate this new role. Yes, John, I will be calling you at night and in the morning, but I'm sure you won't mind. It will just be in the beginning, I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may just pause you for a moment, I'm sure you'll all be keen to join me in raising a glass and thanking John with a toast. I'm looking forward to playing a fundamental and exciting role in this renowned organisation. It's an organisation which is in the business of helping young people in hospitality to progress in our great industry and to become the best versions of themselves through our guidance and wisdom, which we freely give. It's like a big family with lots of friendship and support, as well as plenty of trust. Of course, I do wish to make my mark on the Academy. I've been given a golden opportunity to steer it into the next leg of its journey and to help make it for the many and not the few, and to improve its impact on the wider industry. I want the Academy that I chair to be one that you will continue to be proud, an Academy which you feel passionate to engage with by association and not just for its inclusiveness. There are things I want to achieve and there are legacies that I hope to leave, which perhaps sounds a little presumptuous, but if I didn't aspire to leave a legacy, then I really shouldn't be in this role. So yes, I do want to achieve things that people notice, but perhaps that's just the chef in me. I'm aware and I am well practiced in the process of change. It matters to me that I bring everyone along with me, and I'm aware that patience will be my biggest asset. The Academy's pillars of education and sustainability exist through initiatives such as the MCA, the AA&E, and Chefs Adopt a School. These have been established with some of Britain's leading chefs at the helm. I could not be more proud of the team that surrounds me, and I'm looking forward to working with them all. As I touched on, I was given the opportunity, that was back in 1989. It was an opportunity which changed the trajectory of my life. This is the reason I'm so passionate about improving education for young hospitality professionals, and this will be my main area of focus. One of the greatest things about this industry, our industry, is that there's no barrier to entry, there is no glass ceiling. Anyone with the right attitude, good decision-making skills, and the right mentorship can live a fulfilled and successful life in both kitchen and hospitality, and front of house, excuse me. I'm testament to that notion, and I shall always champion the progression of young people. There will be a thread of responsibility that runs through the next chapter of the Academy, and an expectation of contribution to the wider cause. I simply cannot make change without the input of our members with your vast knowledge, wisdom, and experience. And it cannot continue to thrive without you or our associates and many friends. There is much to be said for bonhomie, as every gourmet knows. I've referred to the Academy as highly prestigious, and I'm sure you would all agree that we have the finest patron in His Majesty King Charles, which was reaffirmed to us only last week, as Brian said in his announcements. We are all delighted. The King is he is dedicated to helping young people. He is an acknowledged champion of sustainability, organic produce and organic farming and gardening. The King is also a keen and knowledgeable gourmet. Some might say it is in his interest that we keep the standards high. There is an extraordinary synergy between the Academy and the King. It is not that we share mutual interests, but more that we are extraordinarily passionate about the same things. At the Academy, we are blessed to have the King as our figurehead and to have his continued future support, encouragement and commitment. As I consider the future, it does take me back to the past. I'm almost 35 years into this amazing industry. I've achieved far more than I ever could have hoped. This profession has given me everything, but I am only just getting started. And it is with this humility that I want you all to feel free to come to me with your views. I really do want to know how you feel and how we can be a better force for good. How we can further upkeep the standards of excellence in both service and in cookery. I'm eager to hear if you want to talk. So please get in touch. I've been doing lots of talking, so I want to thank you for being so kind and listening to me. And again, thank you for being here today. And in advance, may I say thank you for being there with me in the future. I shall endeavour to be there for you too. Perhaps I should finish with a toast. Perhaps be upstanding. Join me in to raise a glass to the Academy and to someone that I know would be thrilled with pride today, to Sarah Jane.
Yeah. Sarah Jane.
Thank you.
Big round.